The Lewisville City Council has called a charter amendment election to be held Saturday, May 3rd, so voters can decide on 6 propositions dealing with potential governance changes.
What is the city charter?
The city charter is the fundamental governing document for any home rule city in Texas. The city charter specifies how the city will operate within the boundaries of state law. Any change to a city charter must be approved through a local election.
How were these proposed amendments selected?
The City Council appointed a 5-member volunteer charter review commission in 2024 to review the city charter and identify potential amendments. The group met regularly through the fall and reported back to the City Council in January with 6 proposed amendments.
Where can I find the full text of the proposed amendments?
The full text of all 6 proposed amendments is available on the city's website, cityoflewisville.com/2025charter.
When was the city charter adopted?
Lewisville City Charter was adopted in 1963 by voters in a citywide election. Adopting the charter made Lewisville a home rule city under Texas law and established Lewisville's current council-manager form of government.
When was the city charter most recently amended?
The charter was most recently amended in May 2021. A charter review commission must be appointed at least once every 5 years. Charter amendment elections can be held no more frequently than every 2 years.
Proposition A.
Should the charter be amended throughout to correct non-substantive errors such as capitalizations, punctuation, and grammar, harmonize conflicting sections, and eliminate references to position titles that no longer exist?
What types of corrections are proposed for the city charter?
Non-substantive corrections primarily include punctuation changes, such as the consistent use of commas. References to the city assessor-collector, a position that no longer exists, would be removed since that function is now performed by the Denton County Tax Assessor. Harmonization clarifies that, consistent with another section of the city charter, at least 4 council members must vote affirmatively for the city council to take action. Harmonization also clarifies, as per the results of the charter election in 2021, that the city manager is responsible for the management of city departments.
If Proposition A passes, will any of these changes affect city policies or operations?
Proposition A would not change any current practices or operations.
Proposition B.
Should the charter be amended to eliminate the reading of ordinances at open meetings on 3 separate days, allowing the passage of ordinances at a single meeting without the need to declare an emergency?
How does the city handle the situation currently?
In most cases, the City Council declares an emergency, as construed by the charter, so the captions of ordinances that they approve only have to be read at one meeting. An emergency declaration removes the requirement that the caption of approved ordinances be read at 2 more separate meetings.
If Proposition B passes, how will this change the process for approving an ordinance?
If Proposition B passes, the City Council would no longer need to declare an emergency, as construed by the charter, for ordinances to pass with the reading of the caption at a single meeting.
If Proposition B passes, how will this change impact public input on new ordinances?
If Proposition B passes, the public still would be able to provide input on proposed ordinances during the City Council meeting at which those ordinances are being considered.
What process is used to pass ordinances in other cities?
Among our 17 comparison cities, 88% require a single reading of an ordinance, 12% require 2 readings, and none require 3 readings.
Proposition C.
Should the charter be amended to allow the city manager, instead of the City Council, to appoint, remove, and assign duties to the city secretary?
What is the current role of the city secretary?
Responsibilities assigned to the city secretary by the city charter are to give notice of city council meetings, keep the minutes of each city council meeting, keep an official record of meeting agendas, minutes, ordinances, and resolutions, and perform other duties assigned by the city council or the city charter.
If Proposition C passes, will this change impact the responsibilities of the city secretary?
If Proposition C passes, the city secretary would continue to perform all of the responsibilities assigned by the city charter. The city manager, not the city council, could assign the city secretary additional duties. Supervision and direction of the city secretary would change from the city council to the city manager.
What is the practice in other cities?
Among our comparison cities, 64% of city secretaries are supervised by the city manager.
Proposition D.
Should the charter be amended to require mayoral or council member candidates to submit a petition signed by qualified voters of the city eligible to vote for the candidate, equal in number to the number of signatures required for a candidate petition by state law, and to eliminate the requirement for a loyalty affidavit?
What are the current requirements to run for mayor or city council?
Per the city charter, a city council member shall be a qualified voter of the city, shall have resided for at least 1 year immediately preceding his election within the corporate limits of the city of Lewisville, or shall have been a resident for at least 1 year immediately preceding his election of any territory not formally within the corporate limits of said city, but which has been annexed to the city under provisions of Section 1.03 of the Charter. Members of the City Council additionally shall have resided continuously in their council district for 6 months prior to the regular filing deadline for a place on the ballot, or in the case of an annexation or redistricting, have resided continuously for 6 months in a location that is in the council district on the date of the regular filing deadline for a place on the ballot. Additionally, the mayor and each member of the city council shall not be in arrears in the payment of any taxes or other liabilities due to the city, and shall not hold any other office or employment under the city government while he is a member of said council.
If Proposition D passes, the loyalty affidavit requirement for candidates will be removed from the city charter. What is a loyalty affidavit?
Currently, residents who file to run for mayor or city council are required to sign a loyalty affidavit stating that they will, quote, support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state of Texas. I am a citizen of the United States, eligible to hold each office under the Constitution and laws of this state. I have not been determined by a final judgment of a court exercising probate jurisdiction to be totally mentally incapacitated or partially mentally incapacitated without the right to vote. I am aware of the nepotism law, Chapter 573 of the Government Code. I am aware that I must disclose any prior felony conviction, and if so convicted, must provide proof that I have been pardoned or otherwise released from the resulting disabilities of any such final felony conviction. I am aware that knowingly providing false information on the application regarding my possible felony conviction status constitutes a Class B misdemeanor. I further swear that the foregoing statements included in my application are all things true and correct, close quote. Much of this also is included in the sworn oath of office that is not proposed for removal and that is taken by all incoming city council members prior to taking office.
If Proposition D passes, what will be the petition requirement for mayoral and city council candidates?
Future candidates would be required to submit a petition containing the number of signatures required for a candidate petition by state law. State law requires the number of signatures to be the greater of 25 or 0.5% of the total votes received by all candidates in the most recent mayoral general election. As of today, Lewisville candidates would be required to provide at least 27 signatures.
What is the practice for candidate qualifications in other cities?
The majority of our comparison cities, 59%, either require a petition in all cases or require a petition in lieu of a filing fee. None of the comparison cities require a loyalty affidavit.
Proposition E.
Should the charter be amended to increase the number of citizens serving on a charter review commission from 5 to 7?
What is the role of a charter review commission?
The Charter Review Commission is appointed at minimum every 5 years to consider the effectiveness of the city charter and determine whether any charter provisions require revision. They can propose amendments to the city charter to the city council, which then decides whether to present proposed amendments to voters for consideration. The city charter can only be amended by a citywide election.
How are members of the Charter Review Commission selected?
City Council appoints engaged citizens to this commission. A change from 5 to 7 members would result in the commission being the same size as the City Council.
Proposition F.
Should the charter be amended to increase the compensation for the mayor and council members from $50 for each meeting to $400 per month for the mayor and $300 per month for each council member?
When was the current level of City Council compensation set, and when was it most recently increased?
The current City Council compensation of $50 per official meeting attended was added to the charter by Lewisville voters in a 2004 Charter Amendment Election. Prior to that, there was no compensation for Lewisville City Council members.
How does the proposed compensation compare to similar cities?
The Charter Commission based its recommendation on data from 15 comparable sized cities that show a current average monthly compensation of $697 for the mayor and $469 for council members.
If Proposition F passes, will this increase impact the city budget or raise taxes?
The total cost would be $26,400 per year, an increase of less than $18,000 from the current budget.
Early voting, Denton County.
Frederick P. Herring Recreation Center, located at 191 Civic Circle, Thrive, located at 1950 South Valley Parkway, and Castle Hills North Community Center, located at 201 Anna Avenue. Voting is open April 22nd through April 26th, April 27th, and again April 28th through April 29th. Times are on your screen. Early voting can be done at any Denton County early voting location.
Early voting, Dallas County.
Coppell Town Center, located at 255 Parkway Boulevard in Coppell. Voting will take place April 22nd through April 25th, April 26th, April 27th, and again April 28th and 29th. The times for each day are shown on your screen. Early voting can be done at any Dallas County Vote Center.
Election Day.
Saturday, May 3rd. Polling locations will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Polling locations will be set and announced by each county. If you have any questions about early voting or Election Day voting locations, please contact the City Secretary's office at 972-219-3648.